Welcome to Syd and Malcolm, exclusively on malcolmpresents.com. Syd, take it over.
Well, we are blessed today to have the vivacious and passionate Sasha Young, who I only met 3 years ago. And I could say that I see Sasha as often as I see my wife, which is 6-7 days a week.
And this is true.
And Sasha is one of the real blessings that have come into my life and to the community of the 5 towns. She has a pantry, which has been named after her grandmother, Gammy's Pantry, and it is housed at the 5-Town Community Center, which is in Lawrence, New York, on Lawrence Avenue. And because of the community needs, and the needs have changed over the last couple of years, the needs of the pantry have also increased. And I would love Sasha to talk about what inspires her and what she does, and how we interact. And I could jump in when you want, Sasha.
Yeah,
Okay.
well, quick definition. What are the 5 towns? For people
Okay. So the 5 towns they're in southwest Nassau County. They're very old. They go back almost 400 years. And they are Cedarhurst, Inwood, Lawrence, Woodmere, and Hewlett.
Okay, so all our out-of-towners can take a look on their map and find out what you're talking about.
Right near just south of JFK Airport.
Huh. Sasha, tell us what you do and what the pantry's about.
Well, hi, it's nice to meet you. I don't want to correct Syd, but I got to tell him that I've known Syd for a long time. He just didn't know me. My children have actually volunteered many years with Syd and with Rock and Wrap It Up on their Christmas wrap and things at the fire department. So for many years, I looked up to Diane and Syd and all that they do here in the community for everyone. And people just like them are what's inspired me to be passionate about wanting to do something. And then my grandmother, unfortunately, was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, and she passed away on Christmas morning, 2018. So at that time, my daughters really wanted to kick it into high gear and do something to honor her and all the good things that she did for us and for everyone in our neighborhood growing up. So that's where the inspiration behind the pantry came from.
Well, your grandma had that for many years before?
No, she was in West Virginia, and just no matter from when I was little, she was just a caretaker of everything, just the birds, the animals, every child in the neighborhood. No one ever went without, and everyone always knew exactly where to go if they were in need. So, and to honor her, my children wanted to make sure that other people could have that same feeling and to be able to know, that they also had some place to go. And thanks to Syd and Diane and Rock and Wrap It Up and so a few other small organizations, not as large as theirs, we've been able to really work some real miracles for the last few years here.
Oh, that sounds good. So how do you relate on a day-to-day basis?
You mean like what's a day like for?
I'll talk about my end and then how I turn it over to her, basically.
Oh, okay.
What we do. Rock and Wrap It Up has relationships with a number of local food establishments, including, but probably more than, Costco, Trader Joe's, Panera, Chipotle, the Bagelery, Wall's Bake Shop, Toddy's, which is a appetizing place, and Crawford's, which is a appetizing and muffin shop. And because of the work of Rock and Wrap It Up, we started doing food recovery. The longest member is the Bagelery. They're with us since 1987, 34 years. They have given us over 1 million pounds of bagels in these 34 years that would have gone into the garbage. And because Rock and Wrap It Up is a little larger than just the 5 towns, where throughout the United States, I always felt that I had to walk the walk if I was going to talk the talk. And I volunteered many years ago to do food recovery, which is what people were doing with us nationally. And I felt that I needed to do it because, number one, it was available. And that's the whole key, that if we weren't there, Malcolm, it'd be tossed. And that's the nature of waste. What is one man's riches is another man's garbage. And for us, it's all riches because of what we do for it. So this is picked up and it is brought to the Gammy's Pantry at Frogtown Community Center in the morning and given to Sasha.
And
this is
Sasha,
the
take it
case.
from there.
All right, so the deliveries come in the morning. Sid forgot to mention his newest accomplishment, Target. And Target's been a really big, donator to Rock and Wrap It Up. And then henceforth comes on through to Gammy's Pantry for the people here in the community. But Sid and Diane come along with a lot of volunteers that they have. 4 mornings a week for fruits and veggies, all the other 7 days a week, but 4 mornings for fruits and veggies a week. They come in, they drop the things. We have volunteers here, a lot of teenagers, and my right hand, Blanca, she's not here at the moment, but she always is. We sort the vegetables to take out the things that may, they would toss a whole bag of apples for one spoiled apple. So there's no reason for, 12 other yummy apples to go in the trash that could feed, a whole family for the week with apples when one just needed to be sorted. So we sort them out, clean them up, bag them back up, and then put it out. It looks like you're at any grocery store here in Long Island. It's beautiful. Everyone comes, they line up. Due to social distancing, we allow 5 people in at a time. Seniors always come first. We have bags that we had made, or you can bring your own bag and you come in and the client or the person selects the items that they need. And it's really nice because it's like a supermarket experience. We have seniors that come in and they cry like in their 90s and say that they've never, in all their life, they've never been able to eat food such as this because like they're not only getting food, when they can't afford it, but they're getting Trader Joe's and steaks and salad and fresh fruits and vegetables. And as everyone knows, that's very expensive. And people that live, paycheck to paycheck or maybe on, assistance, a lot of times aren't able to get those fresh items because of the price points when they need to feed an entire family. So COVID, as well as Rock and Wrap It Up, with this food for our community has actually been a really big blessing.
What would you say the demographics of the people? The old, young, are they white, black, Latino?
Definitely, definitely we are heavily Latino here in our community. I'd say up 60 to 70% of families are Latino. And I just was at the school for the last few years. So income wise, I know that 75 to 80% of the students in our district live below poverty level. And that's eye-opening because a few years ago, maybe 10 or more now, Reader's Digest actually had an article about how Lawrence itself has the greatest divide between the rich and the poor at that time in the whole country, because you'll have so many families living below poverty level and less than a half a mile away, it's a $10 million mansion on the water. Yeah. So a lot of times when you say you're in Lawrence and you have need, people really don't connect the two dots and how anyone Lawrence could have need, but they don't realize that our school system is comprised mostly of children from Inwood. So and a lot of children in Inwood do have financial as well as food, medical needs, all sorts of needs.
I think one of the things that the facility has always been for the entire community, but as the demographics changed, we also have now and have had since the 1890s an African-American contingent that live in the 5 towns. Many of them actually worked in the 1890s, 1910s, and 20s for the families of Lawrence and Cedarhurst. So there were always African-Americans in the 5 towns. In the 1920s, Jewish people started moving in, as well as Italian people. And recently in Inwood, there's been influx of Orthodox Jewish people, and they come to get fruits and vegetables at the pantry as well. But one of the really unique things that I love is the bilingualness. Sasha is fluent in Spanish. In fact, I will tell you, I never heard a West Virginian speaking Spanish, and she outdoes herself every time. and we have people from the islands. So there are different dialects of Spanish. There'll be Guatemalan, Honduran, Cuban, Puerto Rican, and it's all a little different Spanish dialect. And that's what you come to realize when you are in a very heterogeneous Latino community like we live in.
Yeah, my wife is Salvadorian, so she can tell the difference of where people are from by their accent. To me, it all sounds the same. And she says, no, that's they're from Mexico, or they're from Guatemala, or they're from Spain. To me, same. I can't understand any of them.
Oh, now you have to learn. I have learned Spanish. In fact, I don't live anymore, but I used to speak Castilian Spanish. That's what we learned in high school. We learned Spanish from Spain. That's what you were taught.
Yeah, of course. If I had 6 years of French,
we won't hold it against.
Which was a total waste. When I was in Paris and I spoke French to them, they just laughed at me and they said American. they knew by my accent.
Sasha, could you talk a little bit about the other things that you've introduced, which blow me away? The garden, the children.
But we've had a lot of success. We have some really great volunteers. We've had a lot of success here over the last 2 years. We have a community garden that last year with our youth here, we were able to grow enough tomatoes, eggplant, cucumbers to actually feed here in the community and to assist with the things that come from Rock and Wrap It Up. With our youth advocacy group, we were just able to reestablish our PAL after 50 years. So we just got that back here for the community, and that's really great to expand the offerings at different age levels and different opportunities here in the community. We have like a sports program. We have arts and crafts. We just have a lot of opportunity here. It's so much. It's really is. And it's all thanks to everyone coming together. I think COVID was really an eye opener for everyone, that there was a lot of need, and some really great heroes stepped up to really make it happen and come together, and actual work is actually getting done. Things that people have only thought about for years have come to pass in this last year, just due to dedicated people that really want to help and make the world a better place.
It sounds
Malcolm,
marvelous.
one of the things that it was so important is to increase better relationships between the police and the community. The PAL program that Sasha helped start in the community was the first one in maybe 40 years in our community. And it's not police athletic league anymore, it's police activities league. So you have quite a number of genderless activities going on. There are girls involved on every level, where in the PAL, it was mainly for young men. And that has absolutely changed.
What are some of the activities of the PAL?
So far, since we've started out this year, we started about 8 months ago. We've had karate, we've had arts and crafts, we've had basketball. Right now we have soccer on the field. In 2 weeks, we're starting a tennis clinic. For 6 weeks, we're going to combine tennis and swimming. And then in the fall, we're going to kick into robotics, Lego building with football. Wow. So we're trying to make sure that we run the gamut. We have a dance program that we started back this year. We have basketball. There was already a league for 55 and up, but now we have basketball in the building for like 5 years old and up, 14 and up, 3 days a week. So we're just definitely making sure that if teens want to be doing the right thing, that they definitely have a place for it to be done. You don't have to look too far to be able to get into something good.
Where do they play? Like, where do you play basketball? Do you use the high schools, or do you have your own?
No. We're lucky enough that we have our own gym, and thanks to us getting the PAL back, Nassau County and Commissioner Ryder, our police commissioner here in Nassau County, just paid to redo our floors and put the Nassau County Police logo in the middle. They also have agreed to donate $25,000 in police asset forfeiture in order to get us going. So like we have things like that coming in. We've had luck with a few, other grants. Right now, the Tennis Association just sent us 20 brand new rackets and balls to assist us. And we've had a lot of success with neighborhood, like the karate school and different business owners that see what we've got on the ball down here and really want to be a part of something really exciting. So they've stepped up, they donate their time. So everything has been, 100% volunteer based.
Well, I'll tell you, it seems what you're doing with the police department could be like an example for other communities, because that's, well, I mean, that's a big problem nowadays with the big cities. They say the police aren't involved with the kids, and you're doing really getting in the grassroots. You should contact, I don't know who you would contact, but contact somebody nationally to see if your program could be emulated in other cities.
Oh, well, that would be amazing.
Marvelous.
That would be. Right now, we have 6 youth in another room that are they're in a program called YPI, and it's a youth police initiative that works to build relationships between youth and the police. The first 3 meetings of its 6-week program, the children don't realize that half of the other participants in the room are police officers. So they share their experiences about life growing up. And about halfway through, this will be the 4th week. So tonight is where the officers are going to share that those that they didn't know are officers. And it allows for a lot of dialogue because they've built relationships already. When teens on the street see the officers, they know, more or less what the officer's thinking. It gives them a good idea not to be afraid because they've seen this person before, or they know what the officer's looking for or how to react or respond, and vice versa. It gives the police a good feeling when they see every single teen on the corner. They're not always thinking that they need to be on the lookout. It's more like, oh, that's the kid with the best shot, or that's the kid, that I took on last week on the court. So it really is. I don't want to tear up, but it really is a beautiful thing.
Yeah, they become people. They don't become, stereotypes. They're not police. They're not juvenile delinquents. They're people.
Definitely.
Well,
Definitely.
I think that the police department of Nassau County saw the opportunity with Sasha and with the center, and Brent Hill is the executive director there, to have this almost like a science experiment gone right, where everyone sees the value of these interrelationships, but no one more than the people on the street. The parents are the ones that have the most to gain, because so many kids have been led astray by friends, by not so good friends. And you see that if there can be this community together. Sasha, why don't you talk about what you've said? It is community as
one team, one family, one community. That's our motto. So, and it really is that. We have volunteers from 2 years old, little kids that come and they end up just carrying bags of potatoes one side to the other. To some of Syd's veterans have even come when it's inclement weather. They come here and do the farmers market. So they've even come and, they're here. So we have veterans. We have people up into their 90s that come, and they come not only for food, but they come, to hang out. They want to gossip. A lot of the old ladies want to gossip. They want to hear, what's going on, and they want to hear a little trash talk, not just, the norm every day. How's the weather? They want to feel current and like they're, a part of something. So that's something too. And everyone learns. The youth learn from the older folks, and the older folks certainly learn from the youth, teach them how to do their cell phones or, the new app and what it does. And it's nice. With my grandmother having passed away, it's nice to still see those opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that's what families are about. And the problem is, in today's society, a lot of the families are broken up and splintered. So, the kids don't have the opportunity of being raised with a grandmother and a father and a mother. And this way, I guess, symbiotically, they have it with your group. But as they're going back to the police, Syd, I think I can imagine, another year or two, we're doing the shows that you're going to be developing programs in different cities.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so, because it's a beautiful thing. And, I have a good time. Anyone that would be involved in any such program would definitely find it a rewarding experience.
Yeah, again, what I've been meeting with Syd are whole groups of people who want to give. It's amazing, because you think, when you walk, you think people are selfish or only self-serving. But through Syd, I've met a whole group of people. I mean, that's their life's work. I mean, actually, their life's work. do other things, other professions, but they want to give because they enjoy life and they want other people to have the benefits of what they know.
100%. It's a beautiful thing. Like on Thanksgiving this year, we were honored to Syd have Thanksgiving dinner here, and he brought a lot of his volunteers that I had never met, in person. I'd seen them, at events, but never had the opportunity to talk or hang out. And just such really nice, down to earth, like you said, just want to be a part of something good, want to donate their time, donate some turkeys, and just see a lot of people have, a good experience and have family time. So, all in all, it's been a really great experience. And I just look forward to, what's going to come, in the weeks and months ahead.
One of the things, Malcolm, that we've tried to do over the years is to empower as many people that feel that their children are not getting enough exposure to poverty. And over the last 30 plus years, we've had huge Thanksgiving and Christmas events that bring everyone together, because I need hundreds of people to do my vision. I can't do it myself. I never could. So by having so many other people empowered, that each one of them feels that they could make that little difference in someone else's life. And I have people that volunteer for Thanksgiving that in some ways should be on the line to get a meal, but they're there to give someone else a meal. Or for Christmas, we've been blessed to be given huge amounts of gifts to give away. And because of COVID, where I had been running it for many, many years, was unavailable to me, which was a church in Rockaway, about 3 miles from here. But because of couldn't get people together, we were able to ask Sasha and Brent if we could use the community center as a means to give meals out for Thanksgiving, as well as offer the church that had housed us to please come to us. And we prepared 300 meals to give to that church to give out in their parking lot so people wouldn't have to go inside. And we gave probably 500 gifts for Christmas to the same church that has been our partner. I never, ever leave anyone behind. Once you're with me, you kind of stuck with me. You have me for a long time to come. But when people see the successes, success breeds success. There's an old expression, success has a million mothers, failure has no fathers. And that's how things are. And if you realize that it's not hard to do, I'm not that smart. I think of things in the largest possible space. And I believe if it could work in a small space, it could work in a huge space. So if I could feed 20 people, I want to feed 1,000 people. And that's been one of the really great things about using the Five-Town Community Center, where she has the ability of advertising to have, we must have had over 1,000 people come for Christmas, and each one got anywhere from 1 to 5 gifts. And Thanksgiving, people came and sadly they could not eat there. Because one of the things that I love is that I have a space where I could sit down 200 people, and my volunteers and their kids could sit with a family that they would never interact with, but sit with them and talk to them, share experience with them. What are you doing after here? What are you doing after here? And that camaraderie becomes the harmony that brings people together. But you can't just do it. It has to be planned out.
Yeah.
You have to have the logistics, and number one, people feel safe. And the nice thing in your place is that people feel safe coming in. When we had it at the church, I hate to say it, but we always had police outside, because I wanted people to feel if they were coming in there, they were in a safe environment. And the same thing we have at the community center. And people especially that come to the community center to get food from Sasha, They love coming for Thanksgiving. Oh my God, it would be, how many plates do you need? And we never limit it. If someone said they needed 12 plates, here's your 12 plates. You need a pie? Done. And we, God bless the supporters that Sasha has and we have. We were able to get donated to us everything that we needed. I probably spent less than $300 for 1,000 meals.
Wow.
And that was just things that we didn't get donated. But
yeah. What you're talking about, the feeling of camaraderie, is like the feeling of family, which is missing in today's society.
yeah,
For whatever reason, it just reminds me of when I was studying families in sociology, and they were talking about I think it was Tahitian or one of the islands there, where they didn't know how babies were born. They thought it was a miracle. It was an act of God. So if a woman became pregnant, they didn't worry about who the father was. It was God's child, and the family would be raised by the brother of the woman. So there's always a family unit.
right. That's
To
interesting.
me, that seemed to be ideal, because it was a village,
Mhm.
and that's what
Also, maybe that's where that came from.
yeah, and that's what you guys are doing. You're creating a village where it's you're going there. It's not a stranger. It's someone that you relate to, that you talk to. It's how are you? Do you have a pain in your back? You have a headache? How's it cold? You have someone that you're friends with, and it's marvelous that and especially since you take people from different walks of life, as you were explaining, and you find out there's everybody, no matter rich or poor, black or white, have certain basic needs, and we all have the same needs.
And the same problems. Everyone has the same issues. You know what I mean? It's the same. We're all the same. That's what you realize around here.
All parents have the same. All parents have the same problem with teenagers.
Yep. And they're all a little touched. We're all a little touched in some way. I've learned that since COVID began.
The word normal has nothing to do with reality, because normalcy means repetition to me, and life should not be repetitious. It should be things that give you, if something, and the word normal is for people that are afraid to take risks.
That's a good definition, yeah.
And and I've always been, I look at people two ways. Are you a risk taker or are you not a risk taker? I am a risk taker. I have failed often and I've succeeded often, but I wouldn't have failed had I not tried. And I really believe that if you're a risk taker, I'm closer to you than those that are not risk takers. It's just the nature of the people that I attract and the people that I hang out with. We look at life with a little different shaded glasses.
Yeah. Well, they always say it's not how many times you've been knocked down, it's how many times you get up.
Yeah. I heard an amazing quote last week for D-Day, and I repeated it at my American Legion meeting this week. It was by General George Patton, and he said, "You should never mourn those that are killed in battle. You should thank God that they were once born."
Mm. That's heavy, yeah.
But that is, that comes down to the risk taking. There's a place in heaven for them. And they're the ones that succeed in many ways. But again, when you deal with enough people, and Sasha and I know this, she and I have similar reactions to certain people. Like we can hear the same thing and we'll both look at each other and, and just go, it is what it is, because that's how both of us are.
You're kindred spirits.
100%. And the other thing is, and I give Sasha a lot of credit, Sasha will do the job until it's done. and she can be tired at the end of the day.
This is true.
Somebody didn't show up. The job's going to get done. And I feel the same way. I mean, if it's something that I could do, I'm going to do it. And I don't look, if somebody wants to help me, I always love to help. But if there's no one to help me, I'm going to do it anyway. And that's the other part.
Well, that's what people know. Anyway, guys, believe it or not, if you hear the little ring, I don't know. That's our half hour is up. Is it amazing?
Wow.
Pretty
Well, thank
fast.
you so much.
Time goes by so fast. Anyway, is there a way that people could help you out in your area, or do you have a website that they could go to, or email that they could contact you?
Sasha,
Sure.
Are
we
you
have-
okay giving your email?
Oh, yeah, I can give my email. We're Gammy's Pantry at Gmail. Just an easy GAMMYSPANTRY@gmail.com.
How is
Anyone that's in need or would like to help out?
How is Gammy spelled?
Gammy, GAMMY.
Gammy. What does that stand for? Anything or?
It was my grandmother's name, Gammy.
Oh, Gammy.
So it's Gammy's Pantry.
Oh. Anyway, thank you very much. It was great meeting you.
You as well.
And
Thank you.
And I'm sure we'll do other shows. And tell your friends about the show. You know, that's what we do.
100%.
Social media. It's malcolmpresents.com. And you scroll out to Syd Malcolm, because it's me and Syd together.
All
And
right,
what-
I'm excited.
Yeah, and it's fun. Anytime you want to come back, contact Syd, or you want anything special to be said, we'll promote it on the show.
All right, perfect.
Okay.
Well, thank you for having me. All right.
Thank you much, and keep cool. I mean, in Los Angeles,
All right.
it's gonna be
Same to you.
100
Enjoy
degrees.
that Cali weather.
Thank you,
See you soon,
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.